So I think that it turns out that we can fix things.
I don't believe you.
We can, in fact, fix things.
Nowhere on earth that we have an example of this.
Absolutely.
Are we building an ark and turning the taps on?
Yeah.
No, as much maybe one day.
Then
maybe
we cannot fix it.
That's plan B.
Yeah. When it gets too far, and when Democrats in America need to have a good show for diplomats from other countries, then we can fix things. Because it turns out the S-hole of the west coast of America.
What, San Francisco?
San Francisco, yes.
How did I know?
Can actually be fixed. Very briefly, can be cleaned up, and the homeless cleared off of the streets, and it actually turned into a relatively nice city for about 2 to 3 weeks, possibly, so that we can roll out the red carpet for Xi Jinping.
That's fascinating, because that implies that we could do that every single day.
Well, funny, we did do that. We in down in Cornwall, they literally moved a load of migrants out for the holiday season this summer to get...
Really?
Yeah. Literally, they moved them out for the summer to get that holiday income.
Where did they go?
Who
Probably
cares?
Devon.
I mean, I think who cares is the appropriate answer to that.
Well, I mean, why can't they
place
stay
and got
there
them.
all year round, wherever they went, you know?
Well, that's a good question.
But this raises a lot of implications where it's like, okay, so you can get rid of the disgusting, druggy homeless when Xi Jinping comes to visit, which is a weird person to want to honor.
Yes.
But why then do you make us live with them every other day of the year?
If you're anything like me, witnessing the gradual decline of Western civilization can really drain your energy. But if you want to get through the day with your sanity intact and keep a sharp mind as we wade through the ashes together, a good night of restful sleep is vital. That's why you need Rest Again. Rest Again is a natural supplement that contains 11 scientifically backed ingredients designed to get you to sleep and help you to stay asleep by working with your body's natural processes and not against them. Rest Again wants to ensure you get a great night's sleep and make sure to do this by sticking to doses of ingredients that have been shown to work and have not chosen the cheap option for you. Rest Again starts by supplementing the vitamins that your body needs to produce GABA and melatonin, the sleep chemicals, naturally, including vitamin D, B6, and magnesium. Then, Rest Again adds in herbal extracts like ashwagandha and L-theanine, which have been shown in scientific studies to help people get a better quality of sleep. And to top that off, Rest Again gives you what you need to get to sleep at night, not just after your body has started producing what it needs. That means an extra dose of melatonin and GABA that tells your body it's time to sleep. Rest Again doesn't claim to be magic and can't promise you that it will work for you, but if you're not getting the results that you're satisfied with, then Rest Again guarantees to give your money back. So if you're interested in improving your sleep, then click the link below and get 25% off.
Oh, shut up, peasant.
It's almost, well, that's the point. It's almost like it's a deliberate punishment that's being inflicted on everyone.
Well, yes, but also I think with California is an insane state run by insane, evil psychopaths.
You don't need to sell it to me.
I mean, it's run by Gavin Newsom. So
Yeah.
Visit California.
I legitimately think that a part of them does think that it's more kind to give drug addicts more of the drugs that they're killing themselves with. I think they think that it's more kind for them to supply homeless tents to all of them so they can sleep in the streets and do their drugs in public and literally in the streets, literally crap in the streets. It's more kind to let them do that in their own minds than it would be to say, enforce some damn rules on them, say, you can't do that, and if you do that, we're going to put you in prison, or put them in some kind of, not to endorse the Taliban or anything, but to clear them off of the streets and forcibly put them into rehab.
Yeah.
Like the Taliban did in Afghanistan, because they are so terrified of being authoritarian in that way. Obviously, more than happy to be ridiculously authoritarian in other ways.
But they're happy to do it as soon as a Chinese dignitary arrives. And, I mean, Gavin Newsom did recently visit China as well. So there's an interesting crossover. But, like, in every other day of the year, they're happy for that to be inflicted on you. No, you've got to dodge human feces and needles. And your children, when going to school, you have to dodge wild crack addicts, but not Xi Jinping. He's too good for that.
Obviously.
Well, it's the president, isn't it?
Well, yeah, exactly.
It's got to look good for the US president.
Yeah. Literally, it's the president.
But it's especially remarkable because it happened in San Francisco, because San Francisco is ground zero for all of this. It is the desolate wasteland of the modern world. But even San Francisco can be turned around in a matter of weeks.
Just literally like that. They just have to have the will.
So it's the political will. So guess,
can we get Xi Jinping to visit Tower Hamlets?
Yeah, can he come and visit us?
Yeah, actually, Xi, if you want to bring the cleanup crew with you.
No, we'll do it for you. Just,
Let's give him a complete tour of London.
We'll take you to McDonald's and pray,
Time of year.
Go get you a coffee.
So I'll get into the specifics in a moment. First, we've got lots of excellent videos on the website and articles and all sorts that you can get with the membership, the subscription, £5 per month at the moment. We're still running the discount of 33% off for your first 3 months if you use Stripe to sign up and enter in code BIRTHDAY for our 3rd birthday.
And we will have an extra surprise for those people who are already subscribed later on this week. It's just not quite ready yet.
Yes, but some of the stuff that we've been putting out recently, like for our birthday, we did a special birthday Q&A on Lads Hour last week, which was quite fun.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, it was great. And lots of people got to ask us questions, and we got to answer questions, and I got compared to many different beasts and Bigfoot.
You are getting a bit out of control at this point.
I'm beginning to look like a homeless philosopher. Or a philosophy professor of some kind.
Somewhat, yeah.
I'll need to get the elbow patches soon. Then it'll complete the look. But that was a really fun one. So sign up to the website and you can watch that amongst all the other things that we've got. So with San Francisco, Callum and I in particular have covered it quite a bit. Callum was the one who told me about this spectacular map. So this is a map of San Francisco.
Yes. Is that all the shits on the street?
Yes. Yes, this is actually it. There is a map.
Oh, is it really?
Yes.
Oh, I was joking.
In San Francisco, they have an app where you can report incidences of human feces on the streets.
And it goes to this map and
that gives you a database of...
I was actually joking.
I think there's 2 of these. There's the Human Wasteland map, which is similar to this one, and this is a different...
Just a state map, isn't it?
I wanted to get an update on what it looks like at the moment, because I imagine it's nowhere near as packed as that at the moment, or it's all localized to one ghetto.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Crap ghetto that all of the homeless have been corralled into, probably.
The main streets with the beautiful buildings have probably all been cleared. I bet, there'd be like just this conspicuous absence down a few nice streets.
But sadly, I think unless you get the app, you have to log into a website. And I wasn't going to give them my login details just so that I could take a look at this. But I imagine it's much clearer. There was also, we went through, there's the reports that you can find online, the San Francisco reports of disturbances in the streets. And half of them were just somebody reporting feces. You would go to a particular corner of the city in the morning. They would say, oh, there's someone's laid one here. Someone would come along and clean it up, and then that same person coming back from work would pass by and go, now there's another one.
Yep.
It's an endless cycle. It's an endless problem, an endless stream of
literally a Herculean task of emptying the stables.
Yeah, and this is acceptable. This is what San Francisco was, to the point where people decided to try and throw a tour of it for tourists coming through the city. What's San Francisco most known for now? Well, that's in the background there. And I don't think it ended up going ahead, that tour that I told you about.
Oh, really?
Sadly, I don't think it did. Probably the police...
Too dangerous, was it?
Probably, to be honest.
I'm joking.
Do you want to be walking past loads of homeless camps with people shooting up heroin?
And loads of needles around, and God only knows what
Who knows what you're going to step in?
Yeah,
drugs,
shit.
Needles. Well, yeah, we know that.
We know
who knows
what
else you might step in?
Well, I'd be worried about getting AIDS after going to, getting tetanus.
It might be floating in the air. You don't know. To be honest, this is probably an incredible environment for all new and dangerous types of viruses and diseases to emerge.
No, there was a reemergence of
polio.
It was something. No, it was
typhus.
Something like typhoid fever or something like that.
Something that I imagine is transmitted by people drinking unclean water.
Unironically, there was a reemergence of medieval diseases that have been wiped out by modern sanitation.
The Black Plague is back.
No, I think it might be.
Hey, you can't call them that.
I think it might have been. Let me. I haven't got my thing, but I'm going to look at this. Carry on.
It's not cholera. Is it cholera?
No. I'm going to check. Sorry, you carry on.
No. That's absolutely fine. So what changed? What changed was the fact that there is a large international meeting going on, a large conference going on in San Francisco over the next few weeks. It's called APEC. You've probably heard of it. It's the Asia Pacific Economic Cooperation Summit that's going on in San Francisco.
It was
in the Bay
plague.
Area. It was literally the plague. Oh, that's incredible. Hey, to be fair, there's no economic opportunity really in San Francisco right now, unless you're working for a big tech company. In which point,
unless you're a cleaner,
they tell you don't come into work. You're going to pass by all of these. But I tell you what, if you got a wheelbarrow, started collecting bodies from the streets, like in old plague times, I bet you could make a killing.
California sees reemergence of medieval diseases. Right, when this cookie. Right.
God.
So typhus, typhoid fever, and the plague.
Incredible. Leprosy coming next, I imagine.
But if you live like you're a medieval slum, then what do you expect?
You get medieval slum conditions. So, the Asia Pacific Economic Cooperation Summit is taking place in San Francisco. It's called APEC. And it's going to involve teams of officials from Beijing and Washington. Biden's going to be there personally. Xi Jinping is going to be there personally. They're trying to organize some cooperation between the countries because I don't think they've spoken personally and directly since last November. So it's been a year. There have been a number of sanctions been going on. Xi Jinping has been very annoyed about eastward expansion of NATO into potentially Asian territories. There's been deals been going on in Japan to try and secure NATO involvement over in that part of the world because they're worried probably about BRICS, like you've covered, and they're worried about China's involvement in lots of other geopolitical concerns. I think the Chinese are supporting Gaza, possibly in the...
Sure, the Chinese really care about Gaza.
Yeah, it's anything to hurt America.
10% for the
really,
big
isn't
guy.
it? Yeah, there you go. So they're always really wanting to try and... they're trying to shore up communications and basically put off more geopolitical conflict in the time being. And Biden and San Francisco and Gavin Newsom probably all got together and went, San Francisco's not presentable. Why are we throwing it in San Francisco? We're going to have to really clear the place up. So, here's the issues. Global issues from Israel, Hamas, Russia invasion of Ukraine, North Korea's ties with Russia, Taiwan, the Indo-Pacific, human rights, fentanyl, because of course I think China is still where all of
China's like, deliveries are late. I don't know what we can do.
Yes, sorry, Biden. Hunter's going to have to wait for a few more weeks. AI, as well as fair trade and economic relations, and that was according to the senior Biden administrations. I can only imagine talks will probably be Biden falling asleep in the corner while aides and handlers do it for him. Either that or Xi Jinping bullies him.
One of the listed side effects of fentanyl may cause shitting on the streets of San Francisco.
Probably. That's where most of them are going to end up. Yeah, and then there was reports of the businesses are encouraging the APEC attendees to explore the city.
The city's going to shine, says San Francisco Mayor London Breed. That's a weird name.
It is a very weird name, but it's San Francisco. So
but why can't you do this every day?
Yeah.
Why can't it just be every day? Isn't there the global elite are coming? Therefore, we're going to clear out the scum and the underclass. We're going to literally hose down the streets, erase the evidence of the disgusting nature of this city until they're gone, and then it's back to normal, and you get to live in the S-hole that is San Francisco.
Yeah, so Fox did a report where they basically went, my God.
Yeah, I can see it.
It's clean. Look at this. Not a single tent in the background. Nobody is popping a squat right then and there. Normally,
nobody's shooting up. Nobody's causing trouble.
I imagine it is quite difficult, actually, to get a photograph of San Francisco where there isn't some kind of like gay homeless sex going on in the background where people are defecating right then and there. But look, they've brought out the industrial cleaners to clean the place up. People in hazmat suits.
Oh, God, this is how bad it is. We're not going to be out here just in our normal clothes cleaning up. But they could do this anytime. Yep.
So the New York Post said sources had told them that homeless are being herded out to other areas of the city because these people are basically drug-addled cattle.
Yes.
They are the drug-addled cattle class for the leaders, the elites of San Francisco and California. The sorts of people don't...
Palestinian crosswalks.
I thought that. The color scheme seems to be Palestine, but it might be because they're at the same time as APEC coming in, of course, because San Francisco is still San Francisco at the end of the day. There are massive protests going on about APEC. How could they do this to our city?
How could they clean up our city?
There was so much character on these streets.
I mean, that is definitely a true statement.
Yeah, running up and trying to be like, oh, we need to talk about, but how can you talk about fair trade and relations with China when we've got Palestine to worry about, all of that. So I wouldn't be surprised if the crosswalks being painted in that color are to say, see, we care.
Maybe.
We care. Maybe protest next week after Xi's gone.
Yep.
Maybe hold off a bit. But they started clearing out the tents earlier this week, and there's definitely a lot more police presence. Once again, it turns out...
We can have law and order and cleanliness if we want. We just don't want.
Yeah, that's the thing. It shows that, okay, we could do this, but we don't want to.
We can literally do it like that.
And why don't they want to? Well, probably because of the fact they hate you.
We've got industrial street cleaning machines. We're just not going to use them.
Yeah.
If I was lived in San Francisco, I'd get together a load of friends and do like a sweepstake of which street will get the first shit once APEC have gone.
Yeah, the source said they've cleared out the tents that were near the Moscone Center on Howard Street, which tells me the city had the capability to do this all along.
Yes.
But what we need is a permanent solution, which is a rather ominous way of putting it. But yeah, you do.
Permanent, final.
Regular cleaning duty might just be good enough.
Don't hand out easy access drugs to all of the homeless people in the streets.
Don't allow them to just live in the very center of the city where people used to go shopping.
Don't encourage and subsidize this. Yeah.
Can you two far-right extremists just stop talking?
Well, I'm pro the far-right extremism of the San Francisco City Council.
Yeah, and this gives a good rundown of what's been going on. So on the streets, Palominos, 47, said that she's seen traumatic acts of violence like shootings and stabbings in the street. She's addicted to crystal meth and she's been clean for 5 days. And she said that she'd seen a lot of her homeless friends asked by the same police officer to move multiple times. Far-right extremists out in San Francisco. Could you please move? How dare you?
Clean for 5 days.
I was just thinking that.
Really? I'm clean for 5 days.
This is the thing. This is the perfect example of the kind of people that you get in San Francisco because they have encouraged it. They've allowed... San Francisco is basically a sanctuary city for drug addicts of all of America. They know that it's a place where, okay, I'm living in, say, Omaha. And I'm addicted to fentanyl, and I need to stay addicted to fentanyl because I really want to be addicted to my drugs. Where can I go where people won't judge me and the state will actively subsidize me?
Portland?
What do you mean I can't shit on the street?
There you go. Like, I think Michael, what's his name? Schellenberger. Michael Schellenberger has spoken about this a number of times, that they get loads of people migrating to San Francisco purely because they know that they will be supported in their drug addiction. So San Francisco is kind of operating a strange soft euthanasia regime.
It's kind of mecca for it.
Yeah.
We've all got to converge and...
Well, we're not offering Canadian healthcare quite yet, but if you do want to kill yourself, aided and abetted by the state, San Francisco has been the place to go.
Sorry, you're too old to be aborted, but we can give you...
How would you like these Chinese drugs instead? Jennifer Friedenbach, executive director of the Coalition for Homelessness, said her organization has been hearing about more homeless encampment sweeps ahead of the international conference. With shelters seeing spaces already filling up or limited openings, she said it's really frustrating because the city is just displacing these groups of homeless people when they're moved around. I mean, it's...
But they don't want to live in houses. They're drug addicts who are living in a place where it's forever summer. Like that, that's the problem in California, is it's never cold. It's never cold.
I mean, it's November at the moment.
That shit's going to stink in hot weather.
You're right there. All of the photographs we've seen in preparing for this have been, it's the middle of November and it's still beautiful and sunny, probably very warm. People going out in socks and sandals.
It'll probably be about
shirts.
I bet if you looked it up, it's about 25 degrees, where in the summer it's about 33, 40, somewhere like that.
Basically paradise all year long. So you don't need to be in the home, so you can stay homeless and addicted to drugs all your life if you want to.
And get typhoid fever on the streets.
Instead, advocacy groups were hoping for more temporary housing for the homeless during the conference. No, they're not going to do that. Once again, you are cattle to these people. You just need to be out of Xi Jinping's way so he doesn't see you, or preferably doesn't smell you.
It's literally a Potemkin city.
Shit.
It's literally like Soviet, where, we'll bring in the Western journalists. We'll take them around a perfectly crafted little managed city.
This is basically North Korea.
Yeah. This is what they did to the
Look
Soviets.
at all the potatoes we definitely have.
This is why, like Bernie Sanders goes to the Soviet Union. It's like, no, this is amazing. Look at all these vegetables in the thing. So yeah, that's not what it's like.
Yeah,
You're just a moron.
Walter Duranty's stage-managed tour of Soviet Russia. We broke a few eggs, but damn, that omelet's tasting great.
Exactly, and that's exactly what's happening here.
In 2022, 7,754 people experienced homelessness. Got to love the managerial language there.
Yeah. Experience.
Yeah,
it's also it also takes their agency away.
Yeah, it's dehumanizing.
A homeless person is someone who took actions in order to become homeless. Someone who's experiencing homelessness is having it forced upon them.
Mysterious and unknowable abstract forces have put this on them. Who could have known that this would happen?
Yeah, act of God.
About 43%, or 3,357, were staying in shelters, according to city data. That's of last year, so that's still over 4,000 people in the streets.
That's mad.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
But it's going to be way higher than that.
Oh, yeah, of course. These are the ones that they've managed to actually count.
Yeah.
In December, and it's once again, it is subsidized and supported by the courts and by the state itself, because in December last year, a federal judge temporarily blocked the city from clearing certain homeless encampments without offering shelter. So unless you can give these people free housing, which is basically rewarding them for it, then you can't do anything about the problem, unless you've got communists visiting.
There was also a problem here, because in Norway, they tried doing something very similar. But it just turns out that a lot of them just don't want to live in houses. And I'm like, you're in Norway, why wouldn't you want to live in a bloody house? But they'll give them a house and they'll just trash it and then leave. And it's just like, okay, what can you do?
I mean, it's classic incentives. What reason do I have when given a free house because I've made bad choices? What reason do I have to actually look after it?
I think it might go further than that. I think it might just be a certain percentage of people who just don't care. Like they're like kind of mental. They're weird drug addicts. They're not going to just live in a house.
We've seen the sort of people that walk the streets in San Francisco. Yeah, you're absolutely right. They are mental.
Yeah, and so it's like you can't just expect this person to live in a house because they're mental. They should be in an asylum. But anyway.
But yeah, when it turns...
Well, they are.
Well, yeah, it's called, not an open-air asylum then.
So yeah, it turns out that when San Francisco and the Biden regime needs to roll out the red carpet for communists, then we can fix these problems. So why don't we do it all the time?
If only you were as important as a communist. Then this would be for you too.
If you appreciated that episode from the podcast of the Lotus Eaters, you can go to lotuseaters.com to get access to all the premium content that's on the site, such as the Lads Hours, this one on male role models. If you'd like to find out what else is being put out, you can follow on Twitter at lotuseaters_com on Twitter. Thank you and goodbye.